everyone, this is the Scarborough Affair, and I'm so excited to have you all here for my very first video, and for the beginning of my channel. I've been meaning to start this channel for quite some time now, and just recently I decided that this was something I felt very strongly about doing. So, yeah, here I am. This video is going to delve into a subject that I've been a huge fan of for many years now, and that I personally feel can be very difficult to get into. And that is the lore of Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a wonderfully entertaining game on its own, but what a lot of people don't realize is that it actually has an immense amount of carefully constructed narrative, a real significant story that underlies the game itself. Magic's story can be frustratingly inaccessible at times, but given how wonderful it's been in my experience, I decided that I would make some videos to help initiate curious players and fans alike into the game story. Just a little pretense here to explain myself. I work at a games shop and often help people get into Magic and other card games. In both my time playing Magic and my time working at the store, I've often heard people inquire as to the events depicted on the cards, asking things like, why are these people fighting? Or, who is this character I keep seeing show up over and over again? Most players, in my experience, aren't really sure at all what the cards are depicting, or what the flavor text is referencing, and often they simply do not care. However, for the curious ones out there who like to dig deep and know well the contents of their recreational mediums, I can be of service to you in explaining the details of Magic's lore. Before we get started, it's worth noting that Magic storytelling is cumulatively the result of several different mediums, including card text, books and novels, art, and even short stories. So if it seems scattered and somewhat inaccessible, well, that's because it is. Anyway, on to the good stuff. Magic's story takes place in the Multiverse, which is an endless and ever-expanding universe containing an unfathomable number of different realities known as planes. These planes are each individual and entirely self-contained realities that are completely separate from each other. Each plane is roughly considered to be equivalent to one world, in the same sense that we think of something like Earth being one world. That gives you a loose idea of how large an average plane is, but there are always exceptions. Most planes are assumed to be spherical planets of varying size and theme, like the jungle world of Zendikar, the desert world of Amonkhet, the volcanic world of Wildfire, or the megalopolis world of Ravnica. But, like I said, there are exceptions to each rule. Take the Greek mythos-themed world, Theros, for example, where one can travel to the literal edges of the world and fall off of them into magical oblivion. Flat worlds like Theros are possible in the multiverse, as are artificial worlds, like the hollow, entirely metallic world now known as New Phyrexia. That place is bad. It is known that various planes of existence have fixed locations within the multiverse relative to one another, and that they do not move from their location unless they are destroyed or compelled to move by another force. That is, of course, unless you're the volatile and mysterious world of Chandelar, who arbitrarily moves around the multiverse for some vaguely explained reason. Seeing how the multiverse does have some semblance of order, it's safe to assume that it has a center. Well, it does. That center is the colossal megaplane of Dominaria, which is the most important plane both in the whole of Magic's story and to the multiverse. For without Dominaria, the entire multiverse would collapse and cease to exist, which is also bad. Now, it is known thus far that the planes of existence are separated from each other by a chaotic subdimension of pure entropy and magic known as the Blind Eternities. As complicated as that sounds, it's not so bad. The Blind Eternities sort of fill in the cracks and make up the bulk of the multiverse, making it somewhat analogous to our concept of outer space. That is, roughly, how the multiverse is put together. Since they all exist in different realities, the denizens of each plane are entirely unaware that there are other worlds beyond their own, and even if they knew, there is conceivably no way that they could ever travel to those other worlds. However, as I've said before, there are always exceptions. Well, that's all we're going to talk about in this video, but look for the next video whenever it drops, and we will discuss the exceptions, people known as Planeswalkers. Thanks for watching.